Hello there my RPG lovers and welcome to another video. Once Human is a post-apocalyptic multiplayer open-world survival game with some RPG elements that came out in July 2024. This game has PvE and PvP servers, each with unique seasonal narratives called scenarios. Back in January, Once Human introduced Visional Wheels system, which added an interesting twist to all existing scenarios. The first Visional Wheel is called the Lunar Oracle, and it brought some bizarre changes to the wilderness of Once Human map. At twilight, a blood moon will rise, and it affects all enemies and players with a special status effect. The players lose their sanity much faster, which is one of the main survival stats that players have to worry about in Once Human. And the only way to recover sanity is to fight back and defeat as many enemies as you can. Deviants, as the game calls its unique monster enemies, also become much stronger during the blood moon effects. The Lunar Oracle campaign will enter its final phase on March 13, when the brand new gameplay feature will be introduced, which has some strong Souls-like vibes, but more about that in a minute. I played the game quite a bit, and I got to experience this new update for myself, as well as some other game features like huge boss fights, exploring the world, a little bit of co-op, survival crafting, and so on. This is a sponsored video by Starry Studio, and huge thanks to them for reaching out to the channel and sponsoring this video. Once Human is a free-to-play game, so if you want to check it out, be sure to use my link in video description or in the pinned comments so the developers of the game know that you came from this video, and by doing so you will support my channel. By the way, Once Human Mobile is coming out in April, and it's intended to be the first open-world survival mobile game without pay-to-win elements. As a special bonus, PC players will also get some exclusive rewards. You can pre-register now and be one of the first players to dive into action. The Blood Moon event affects the whole map, basically, and it creates this red atmosphere. Your health instantly goes down quite a bit because of the low sanity, and this kinda puts you in a fight or flight mode. As soon as you start killing deviants, your sanity will slowly go up, so this encourages you to be more aggressive. All scenarios on the map will be affected by the blood moon, meaning that new, stronger and more aggressive enemies will spawn, and you can get some nice rewards by defeating them. This also means that dungeons like silos and monoliths will be affected as well. These new enemies are hard to miss, especially in the open worlds. The dungeons are instanced in this game, and they usually have a boss for you at the end. Speaking of dungeons and bosses, this was definitely my most favorite part about the game. In fact, my main goal while I was playing Once Human for the past week was to kill every boss that I could in the solo mode. But of course, you can also team up with friends or random people on the server and try to take them down in a group. Which is honestly what you should do. I just like to challenge myself when I'm fighting a boss, because I think it's fun. The monoliths have these big boss fights, and these bosses have various mechanics. The monoliths are these huge buildings that you can see on the map from a distance because of the beam. It's pretty cool. Yeah, like I said, these huge boss fights were definitely the highlights of my time with Once Human. I mentioned another gameplay feature from the new Visional Wheel system, and that will be Lunar Spawn. The Lunar Oracle campaign will enter its final phase on March 13, and like I said before, it will bring some features which are definitely inspired by Souls-like games, at least a little bit. This new gameplay feature will introduce special humanoid enemies known as Lunar Spawns, and these new enemies closely resemble ordinary players. They will actively attack other players, and upon defeating them, a Lunar Spawn will adopt the player's appearance and name. The more players these Lunar Spawns kill, the stronger they get, which eventually turns them into a very formidable foe. But of course, if you manage to kill them, you get rewarded with some very valuable loot. If you're watching this video after March 13, this feature should already be in the game and you can experience it for yourself. The new update is free, by the way, which should be obvious because Once Human is a free-to-play game, but I wanted to clarify that for new players that plan to play the game for the first time. And speaking about new players, let's talk a little bit about the game in general. Once Human features a vast open world that you get to explore on foot or with a vehicle. But in order to get to that point, you need to do some crafting and base building. This is a survival game after all, so gathering resources is a huge deal. There is a progression system for building and upgrading your base as well as your weapons and armor. But you will also find blueprints for weapons and armor and get to craft some high quality gear by yourself. In order to get to that point, you need to progress your character by investing points into a couple of different skill trees. The base building aspect of the game is very extensive. You can be creative or keep it as simple as possible if you wish. As you explore the huge open world of Once Human, you will get to see other people's properties and houses, which is pretty cool. You really need to focus on upgrading your gear in order to take down those huge bosses in the monolith, or if you want to tackle a higher difficulty mode in dungeons. There are also weapon and armor mods that you can put in your gear and some great customization options as well. As for the weapons, my personal favorite was the combination of a sniper rifle and a shotgun. That's usually what I prefer when I play similar games, and this combo seems to work great in Once Human as well. I also tried using some handguns and SMGs. I was actually using one SMG quite a bit in the beginning of the game because that was the best weapon I managed to find. But as soon as I got my hands on the first sniper rifle, I knew that's going to be my main weapon. Once Human allows you to enter the first person mode with all guns by a press of a button. It's a very smart feature actually. If you only press the right mouse button, you enter the first person aiming mode. But if you hold the right mouse button, you will remain in third person mode and aim like this. It's a very smart way of utilizing the best of both worlds, and it's all up to you how you wanna play. I found myself switching between these modes a lot. There are melee weapons in the game as well, and you can chop off enemies' limbs, which is pretty cool, as well as performing finishing moves. Some of the dungeons feature a couple of platforming segments as well, like avoiding these lasers for example. For all the returning players out there, you should know that all servers will remain active and they will merge during the settlement phase, which means there are no more wipes. Season tags will continue to evolve, which will ensure that the visual wheel keeps turning. So yeah, this new update should be very interesting for returning players, but it's also a great reason for new players to jump right in and try out the game for the first time. Once again, the final stage of Lunar Oracle will start on March the 13th, which will add a very interesting twist to the base gameplay of Once Human. If you jump into the game right now, you'll be able to experience your first visionary wheel, fight blood-soaked enemies, and experience the Blood Moon for the first time. The game is coming out on mobile in April, and you can pre-register right now. You can download Once Human by checking the link in the video description or in the pinned comment. It's a free-to-play game, so there's nothing to lose, and you will support my channel if you decide to do so. Once again, huge thanks to Starry Studio for reaching out to the channel and sponsoring the video. Overall, if you're a survival game enthusiast and you like RPGs as well, you should definitely check out Once Human on Steam. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more content like this. And if you want to go a step further, consider supporting your boy by becoming a YouTube channel member or a Patreon. Huge thanks to all my current supporters, and I'll see ya in the next one.